Yo guys, we're back with another episode of Live with the CEO. This is the third episode of my live streaming series, where we just talk over some news, some general stuff that's going on, I guess some opinions, some commentary, and you guys feel free to interact with me. Let's get a convo going. But first thing that was on my mind is I want to talk about Adrian Broner, right? So now this is a guy who's kind of been out of the headlines for a while now. He's a boxer, for those who don't know. A former world champion, a former full-weight world champion, would I say. But as of recently, he's had a number of losses. I see his record: 35 wins, 24 knockouts, 5 losses. So in boxing, when you have that amount of losses, there's no real coming back for you at that point. When you've been at that level and you've had a number of losses now, you're pretty much done as far as ever being like a high level, well respected boxer. Let's look at his record. He was unbeaten for a while, a very long time. He was unbeaten for. He made it to, I don't know what he made it to, and then he lost to Marcos Maidana in a fight that wasn't really close. I was going to say in a close fight. It wasn't a close fight. The best win of his career is probably Paulie Malignaggi. Can I say it? Paulie Malignaggi. Is that how I say it? I don't even know how to say that, but that's when he won the WBA welterweight title. That's probably his best win, and arguably he lost that fight. That was a close decision. As you can see, 115, 113, 113, 115, and 117, 111. It was a very close fight. But AB managed to win that fight, and then he went on to then fight Marcos Maidana, and then he lost in a decisive, unanimous decision where he got his ass handed to him for the most part. If we're being honest, he got his ass handed to him, and then he won a couple more fights. Then fought Sean Porter in 2015, lost that. Again in a couple more fights. Then fought Mikey Garcia. I remember that fight. Lost that one. It's really not been a good look from Mikey Garcia. And then after that, he was fighting pretty much once a year. Mikey Garcia loss, Jesse Vargas draw, Manny Pacquiao loss, and then he beat these two plumbers. Bill Hutchinson, I don't know if you guys watched that fight, but Bill Hutchinson, this guy he's a chimney sweeper. He's as far as they go in terms of boxing, he's a bum. Somehow he's managed to get himself a somewhat respectable record of 20 wins, 2 losses. But this guy's not at the level, and AB kind of dealt with it. To be fair, AB dealt with him pretty handedly. Then he fought Blair Cobbs, again, a guy who I'd never previously heard of, but apparently had been, a quite well-respected prospect and did have a bit of hype around him before he got his first loss. But then Blair Cobbs fought Adrian Broner, and he pretty much dominated him. That was probably the worst performance of AB's career. Some people would say maybe the Manny Pacquiao loss, but the Manny Pacquiao loss he was just outclassed, and Manny Pacquiao was far too quick for him. Even Manny Pacquiao at this age is still far too quick for Adrian Broner. But Adrian Broner, he didn't really seem to be under a lot of... It's hard to explain. For those who've never boxed before, it's like he wasn't really under loads of stress in that fight. Like, he was getting beaten up, and he lost the fight, but he didn't get beaten down. As bad as Pacquiao could have if it was a prime Pacquiao. If this was Pacquiao, 15 years ago, he would have cooked Adrian Broner. Absolutely cooked him. But the Blair Cobbs, we saw AB really hold a beating, to be honest. He held a beating in that fight. Got dropped badly, and that was probably the worst he's been dropped since the Marcos Maidana fight. Just got sat down on his arse, Adrian Broner. Wasn't a good look for him at all. But I'm thinking, where does Adrian Broner go next from here? He's won 2 of his last 6. He's got 2 wins in 6, and in boxing, and considering, in boxing that's bad. 1 loss in boxing is bad, but let alone 2 wins in your last 6. That's awful. So what does Adrian Broner go from now? Is he cooked? I think he is. I think he'll probably go down. I think it was Carl. Who was it? Chris Algieri that said it. Chris Algieri, I think he's most known for facing Triple G, got his ass handed to him in that fight. But Chris Algieri says that Adrian Broner might go down in history as the worst 4-weight world champion ever. And honestly, as much as I used to really enjoy that Adrian Broner, I'm inclined to agree. Adrian Broner at one point was one of my favourite fighters to watch because he fought with that Philly shell style that I liked. He was a fighter that typically got better the longer the fight goes. And you'll see this even in a lot of Adrian Broner's losses. He'll really start to pick it up in the 10th, 11th, 12th round. It's almost like he's afraid he's going to gas out if he exerts himself too much early. So he's just just accepting that he'll just give away those early rounds in an effort to try and make it up later down in the fight. And as we're seeing in all these decision losses, it's not working. We're seeing in some decision wins when it does work against lesser opposition. But against the best, and not even the best, Mikey Garcia, Jesse Vargas, they are good boxers, but they're high level, but they're nowhere near the best. Blair Cobbs, again, nowhere near the best. Pacquiao is nowhere near his best. Marcus Maidana was nowhere near the best. These are all very good boxers, don't get me wrong. They're all good boxers, but even if you're a high level boxer, once you've got that lead of 7, 8, 9 rounds, even if Adrian Broner does win the 10th, 11th, 12th round, you've won that fight 8. What was that? You've won that fight 8-4. You won that fight 8-4 or 9-3. Unless Adrian Broner is knocking you out in the 10th, 11th, or 12th round, which he doesn't do. Typically, when was the last time Adrian Broner won via knockout? Okay, 2016 was his last knockout win. Adrian Broner, Adrian Broner's last knockout win was 2016 against Ashley Thier, who was a British boxer signed to Mayweather Promotions. That was a weird deal. I don't think Ashley Thier is still fighting anymore, or maybe he is. I'm not sure. I don't want to say he's retired and he just fought last week. I don't know, but that was his last knockout win, 2016. And since then, he's not even really come close to even knocking someone out. That's the only way that sort of style of boxing can work, unless you're able to go full Philly shell and you're one of the special ones like Floyd, who can just make it work, and you can fight that defensive style and counter and win, and essentially cancel out your opponents and win over 12 rounds. Adrian Broner wasn't of that cloth, wasn't of that caliber of boxer to be able to do that. If he was, then he could have won some of these matches that he lost or drew, or maybe won a split decision. He could have dominated more, but he couldn't. He didn't have that in him. I'd be so curious to find out what you guys think Adrian Broner's legacy will be. I would be really interested to find that out. Because like I said, it's an interesting career. It's a certainly interesting career, and he's had some out of the ring controversies as well. Prison, jail time, number of controversies. But he's managed to find himself back into a boxing ring pretty much every time. Not necessarily always successfully. And like we've said, he's had losses before. He's had a number of losses before, but let's see what Adrian Broner does. That's going to be it for me, guys. I'm going to catch you next time. Take care.